You at Purdue have reason to be proud, and I salute you, and I will.
The year 1987 will long be remembered at Purdue as the year the President of the United States came calling. On a bright spring day, Ronald Reagan became the first chief executive to visit Purdue University. He toured state-of-the-art technology and engineering labs and spoke to faculty and students in a packed Mackey Arena.
For someone who grew up in the era of slide rules, seeing all those computers and robots was one of the most amazing sights of my life.
It's customary to give the president some gifts when he comes. He looked at the robot and then at me and he said, "Do you really mean it? That's for me to take home to keep?" And then at the airport, he wanted to know if the little robot had been put on the plane so he could study it and work with it and show it to Nancy. The White House liaison man told me that in 7 years that he has arranged presidential visits, he had never seen a more successful one, and that he had never seen the president enjoy a visit more than he appeared to enjoy this one. It showed. We enjoyed it, and he enjoyed it, and I guess the most telling thing was that he said, "I'd like to come back. We'll be happy to have him anytime."
The 8,000 tickets available for Purdue students were snatched up in just 2 hours, and the 2,000 faculty and staff tickets also disappeared quickly. This enthusiasm carried over to Reagan's speech, which was interrupted nearly 30 times by applause. As President Reagan noted, Purdue research remains in the vanguard. Finding ways to help paralyzed people is the goal of the new Center for Paralysis Research in the School of Veterinary Medicine. Center Director Professor Richard Borgens is using weak electric currents to stimulate nerve regeneration in dogs who become paralyzed from natural causes. Borgens earlier had success restoring lost spinal cord function in guinea pigs.
We have about 25 to 30% recovery of function. In other words, the rippling behavior comes back, it's recovered, and it's an association with regeneration of nerves within the spinal cord. We now take that and wish to try that in cases of dog paraplegia to see if it's really clinically useful.
Scientists in the School of Agriculture Center for Value-Added Research are finding new uses for Indiana farm products. For example, Professor James B. Miller is working to combine plastic and starch, so bags and containers will be biodegradable. This will help both the environment and farmers. Meanwhile, nutritional physiology professor John Story in the School of Consumer and Family Sciences is searching for dietary solutions to the problems of cholesterol. These problems include an increased risk of heart attacks. Discoveries also took place outside the laboratory and classroom as students sampled the range of experiences and ideas that make up an education at Purdue. Experiences might include internships, such as working for state officials at the Indiana General Assembly. Other students take part in the annual horticulture show or test their career potentials through various job fairs, such as this one for minority management majors. Still others hold a Purdue birthday celebration marking the 113th year of classes. Purdue teaching got a boost this year when Associate Professor of Philosophy Larry Axel was named Indiana Professor of the Year. Unlike most teachers, Axel keeps in touch with many students long after they've left his classroom.
Almost everything that is of any true significance takes seasoning. Just one semester's course is a mere snapshot, and that's why I guess what so many of my colleagues think is so strange, I mean, in terms of attempting then to maintain contact with these people far after the semester's over.
While classwork's important, it's just part of a Purdue education. From the first day of moving in, to meeting the marching band and new Golden Girl Candy Noggle at the President's Convocation. To discovering places like the Sweet Shop at the Union's traditional First Nighter, to fighting crowds at the bookstores, to walking to class no matter what the weather,
Okay, a nice big smile for Mom.
to having graduation pictures taken, Purdue student life is filled with adventure,
Hey, Mark, we get a cheesy smile out of you.
hard work, and of course, fun. Purdue Pete also knows how to have fun as he demonstrates the newest Boilermaker special, a ride for kids. And to show that even work can be fun, a bathroom painting project at the Ann Tweedale Co-op turns into an impromptu makeup session. Travel was also part of the learning experience for some Purdue students. For example, the Purdue Jazz Band was one of only 2 university groups to perform during the summer at the prestigious Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland. The year 1987 was full of Purdue anniversaries, from the 25th year of the Cranner School of Management to the 50th year of co-op housing, to the centennial for civil engineering. The celebration for the 100th anniversary of civil engineering at Purdue included a special halftime show by the marching band, a new plaque and banner, and reminiscing about great accomplishments by Purdue civil engineers, including the designing of the famous Golden Gate Bridge.
There's very few projects that are built today that of any size that didn't have a Purdue civil engineer involved with them if it was a structural project. And by structures, I don't mean just buildings. I mean tunnels, dams, roads. They all have a structure to them.
Alumni of Ann Tweedale Co-op returned to celebrate the 50th year of co-op housing. The concept of students living together at low cost in return for sharing housekeeping chores was revolutionary when it began at Purdue. Carolyn Wrinkle, who was in the 3rd pledge class at AT, says co-op spirit is still alive and well.
The schedules of work seem to be the same. You have the same meals to prepare all semester, and jobs that are considered harder are rotated. Pretty much the same idea if you work together and go to school.
Sweep the fire in my heels. No dirt, no dust, no fuss, no smell. No wonder I love Ann Tweedale.
The Alumnus, the official alumni magazine of Purdue, celebrated its 75th year of publication. The Alumnus grew from a small pamphlet published by volunteers to a full-color magazine with 9 issues a year. Joe Rudolph, executive director of the Alumni Association, says the magazine provides important information to alumni.
Whether it's a gift of money, whether it's helping recruit outstanding students in your community, whether it's coming back and participating in functions and finding out what's going on this campus, all of these things relate to the success of the association and the university. And they're highlighted and tied together with a magazine such as the Purdue Alumnus.
One other anniversary that Purdue helped celebrate was 200 years of the United States Constitution with a bell ringing ceremony. Homecoming, a time for alumni to return to campus, watch a parade, see decorations, and take in an afternoon of football. This year's homecoming was also a good time to check the progress of the largest building program in the history of the Purdue campus. The alley between Hovde Hall and Elliott Hall of Music has been transformed into a beautiful plaza. The new Materials and Electrical Engineering building is nearly finished, with completion set for March 1988. The expansion of the Civil Engineering building will be done a few months later. The Union Club has been renovated, including new rooms and a new lobby and entrance. President Beering describes the next step of the university's master plan.
It is the new Fountain Park, the reformation and refurbishing of our mall between the new engineering building and Hovde Hall. And the entire site will be converted into a green space with walks and trees and shrubbery and bushes, benches, and as its centerpiece, a fountain which will be twice the size of the current Loeb fountain. We hope to winterize this fountain so that it will be a special centerpiece for the entire year.
Gala Week was another special time for alumni, including the traditional parade and wreath-laying ceremony at John Purdue's grave. Go-kart fans saw not one, but two Grand Prix races. A shorter alumni event preceded the 50-mile feature race. The Founders Day banquet capped off the weekend with honors to outstanding alumni. This year's distinguished alumnus is Donald Powers, president of the Purdue Board of Trustees. Head men's basketball coach Gene KEADY received the Alumni Service Award. Retiring Dean of Students Barbara Cook was named Distinguished Purdue Woman. John Hager of Richmond, Virginia, and William Lyles of Fresno, California, were given Alumni Citizenship Awards, though Lyles wasn't able to accept in person. Some off-campus construction in 1987 is also having a profound effect on Purdue. Specifically, the groundbreaking for a $500 million Japanese automobile and truck plant near Lafayette. Called Subaru Isuzu Automotive, the company quickly established a partnership with Purdue by donating $100,000 for student scholarships.
It signifies not just the investment of $100,000 in the young engineers and scientists and managers and business people of the future, but it really signifies the new beginning of a very important partnership between yet another major corporation and Purdue University. This check also signifies the beginning of our Pacific Rim outreach program.
Another aspect of the Pacific Rim Initiative, developing closer ties with China, got a boost in 1987 when a delegation of Chinese officials visited the campus. They were impressed by Purdue's computer-integrated manufacturing research. This research has also been cited as one reason Subaru Isuzu chose to locate near Purdue. When the plant opens in 1989, the School of Technology will develop an on-site training program, similar to the one now in operation at this Chrysler plant. On-site training is part of Purdue statewide technology, which is offering thousands of Hoosiers a chance to get a Purdue technology education near their homes at 13 sites around Indiana.
$200!
With the help of student volunteers at the annual Phonathon, private funding at Purdue reached record levels in 1987. The President's Council, including alumni and friends who donate at least $1,000 a year, topped 2,400 members. In 1987, the Council celebrated its 15th year, and as they do each year, members returned to campus to sample a variety of classes. Private funding, such as from the President's Council, has enabled the creation of 60 distinguished faculty positions and the awarding of 7 full academic scholarships in the new Presidential Scholars Program.
It is my hope that by the end of this century, we will have over 100 such distinguished professors actively teaching and doing research. At the same time, we established a series of special scholarships called the Presidential Honor Scholars. We feel that this investment in unusually talented, the exceptionally bright young people of today is going to pay enormous dividends in the future. By the turn of the century, we should have at least 100 such students pursuing their studies on this campus.
Research funding also reached a record level, $120 million, double what it was 4 years ago. Purdue athletics generated a lot of excitement this year, especially when the men's basketball team tied Indiana for the Big Ten championship. Coach KEADY's Boilermakers finished the regular season with a record of 25-5. And while they got by a rugged Northeastern team in the first round of the NCAA tournament, Purdue fell to Florida in the second game, 85-66. Purdue football was marked by rebuilding and a new enthusiasm under first-year coach Fred Akers. With a record of 3-8, Akers is looking for a strong recruiting year to bring improvement in 1988. Having to face nationally ranked Washington on the road to open the season was certainly not a good omen, but the team was encouraged by nearly 600 alumni and fans who traveled from the Midwest to cheer for the Boilers. The Centennial football celebration at halftime of the Ohio State game featured the naming of the all-time Purdue football team, including running back Leroy Keys, who was voted Purdue's best player during those first 100 years. Women's athletics also tasted success. The volleyball team finished the regular season with a 24-14 record, good enough to go to the NCAA tournament. This year, Purdue was hosting the Mid-East Regionals in Indianapolis. The team didn't make it quite that far, being eliminated by Nebraska in the semifinals. The women's basketball team finished with its best record ever, 18 wins and 9 losses, now under first-year coach Lynn Dunn. The Boilers, for the first time, are playing competitively against nationally ranked teams. Purdue welcomed several new administrators this year. Dean of Humanities, Social Science, and Education, David CAPUTO. Dean of Technology, Don Gentry. Dean of Consumer and Family Sciences, Donald Felker. Dean of Students, Betty Nelson. Vice President for Student Services, Richard Grace. And Vice President for State Relations, John Huey. The university also bade farewell to Mr. Purdue, John Hicks, who wore many hats during 4 decades of service to Purdue as a professor, executive assistant to the president, chief lobbyist, acting president, and senior vice president. Hicks was honored with ceremonies both in Indianapolis and on campus. His devotion to baseball is legendary, as is his rendition of Casey at the bat.
And now the leather-covered sphere comes whirling through the air. Casey stands a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close for the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike one," the umpire said. "There is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey had struck out."
Unlike Casey, Purdue hit home run after home run in 1987. The university scored major successes in research, in teaching, in development, in growth, and in service to the state, nation, and world. Perhaps the culmination of the year was commencement, which now takes place in August and December, as well as in May. A total of nearly 9,000 Purdue students from all campuses joined the ranks of alumni in 1987. And the cycle renewed itself in the fall when a record 53,000 students enrolled at Purdue system-wide. These students continue the process of searching for new knowledge as they advance down the road of education. It's a salute to the future, a salute to Purdue.